Hey you guys, Jessie here from Urban Legends Antiques, and this week I'm doing this lovely side table. We are in the dog days of summer. It's super hot. It was 109 degrees today, and we're doing everything we can to stay cool and beat the heat. I'm not even drinking coffee. I'm drinking ice water from Starbucks because it's so hot. Hence the tank top. Sorry. Sun's out, guns out. They're in there somewhere.
Load them up.
Okay, let's get serious.
I also had some family come to visit, and we took a trip to Cabazon to see the dinosaurs. For this week's project, I'm trying out Bungalow 47 paint in the color Farmhouse Ink, and I got a bonus color. I got Topiary, and I'm going to try this color out on the side table as well. I'm also using the Jamie Ray Vintage Stencil in Monstera Palm, and it is her largest stencil. I purchased the stencil for $55, and I've been obsessing over it since the first time I saw it. It is so big, it is going to cover the entire top of the table. First things first, we need to give this table a good scrubbing. Now that that's done, I'm going to open up a new jar of Bungalow 47 paint. I love this part. Ooh, I love opening up a new jar of paint. The Cabazon dinosaurs have been around since the 70s, and I went when I was a kid, my little sister went, and now I'm taking my niece and nephew. In addition to painting some of their dinosaurs, they've also installed misters along the path and extra trees to keep you cool while you walk the trail.
Stegosaurus, my favorite. It's a dinosaur.
Back to the table now. I've cleaned it, I've rinsed it. I did not sand this table, it did not need to be sanded, but I did moisten my brush with water before I began to paint, and now I'm just putting the first coat down. Once you get the base of the table done, you can leave the top alone and have a nice two-tone coffee table. But I knew I wanted to stencil this one, so I began to paint the tabletop as well. The first coat is almost done, and once I finish, I'm going to let it dry and add a second coat. The second coat is on, and the paint is looking really good. It's not splotchy or streaky at all. My favorite part of the Cabazon dinosaur experience is saying hi to T-Rex. My niece and nephew loved pretending they were a dinosaur that had recently hatched out of this egg.
What is that? Look at that monster.
The kids' favorite part was climbing to the very top of this dinosaur and then roaring out of its mouth.
Dinosaur booty. I guess that's better than the mouth. Look at it's all red inside like you're in the guts. Go up the stairs.
Once you get to the very top, you can roar out over the freeway. I think the Monstera Palm is Jamie Ray Vintage's largest stencil, and I thought it was really cool. I was obsessed with it ever since the first time I saw it, and I couldn't wait to try it out. I just didn't know what I was going to use it on, but after seeing the dinosaurs and learning about all of the foliage and the size of the foliage back when they were alive, I was inspired to go for it and give it a shot. I'm dabbing off the extra paint from my brush onto a paper plate. This is also called offloading. Now that my paint is properly offloaded, I'm going to use the swirling technique and swirl the paint onto the stencil. I find the swirling technique easy to do. Jamie Ray Vintage's stencils are so thick that they don't move so much, and if your paint is properly offloaded, they will not leak underneath the stencil. And bonus, you can use her stencils over and over again. Here's an example of too much paint on your stencil brush. You need to offload this prior to stenciling. This is a close-up shot of the swirling technique that I was talking about. It's literally just drawing the paintbrush in circles over and over onto your surface to get a nice swirl pattern, and your brush will move easily over the stencil, and your stencil doesn't move as much. And I've noticed when I swirl, I have less of a chance of leakage underneath, even if I do have a little bit of too much paint on my brush. I'm almost done painting, and once this last bit is done, I'm going to remove the stencil and check my work. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can find out when I have new videos coming up. Also, if you could share with your family and friends, I'd really appreciate it. All done. Now it's time to lift the stencil off and see how I did. Ooh, look at those nice, crisp, clean lines. This is why I think the Jamie Ray stencils are the best. Now that that's all done, I'm going to go in with some dark and light paint to create highlights and shadows to give my stencil a little bit of dimension. The first time I did this, I learned from Melissa Morrow of Vintage Bee Design, and she taught me how to stencil and how to do the highlight and contrast. I just never had the courage to go back in and try to highlight and shadow again. I'm filling in all of the veins of the leaf with the darker color first, and then my plan is to go back in with some lighter colors to add in the highlights. Now that I have the dark paint on, I added a little bit of yellow to the stencil, and I decided I wasn't really liking the way it looked. So I went in with Bungalow 47 and Farmhouse Ink, the paint that I had originally painted the table with, and I'm adding that to my stencil as well to add a little bit more color and lightness to it. I'm using a very soft hand and just adding a little bit of white, and I think it brightened up the stencil really, really nicely. I also went over the veins of the leaves with the white paint, and I feel like it helped it to give the feeling of like the light shining through the leaves a little bit better. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Urban Legends Antiques, and I have a website with items available for shipping, www.urbanlegendsantiques.com. And here's my stencil all done. I just need to let it dry before I do a light distress on it. Now that we've roared over the freeway, it's time to say goodbye to all the dinosaurs. Bye, dinosaurs. Bye, dinosaurs. We'll see you later. See you later. Bye, Brachiosaurus. We'll see you later. I'm just doing the finishing touches to my coffee table. I'm going to give it a light distress, and then once that is done, I'm going to add a clear coat over the whole piece, and then it will be ready for its new home.
All right, you guys, well, that's all for this week. Once again, I'm Jessie from Urban Legends Antiques, and thanks for coming along for the ride. Come on, get out of the mud. Only you can find mud in the desert.